Today, we're doing something a little different here. For the past few videos, just to get my feet wet here on the channel and get used to making YouTube content, which is something that's pretty new to me. I've been writing out scripts, reading them, of course, ad-libbing here and there. But just to get me sort of grounded and acclimated to making videos. But today, this one's a little bit different. It's a little personal, and I can't write a script for this one. I feel like I just have to go off the cuff here, because today we're talking about Halo 4, and I hate this game. I hate this game so much, and I see people all the time defending it for some reason. Ooh, it's one of the best Halo games, actually. No, it's not. You objectively have bad taste if you think that this game is good or redeeming in any way at all. And it infuriates me that people don't realize that this game is directly responsible for the decline, and I would argue the death, of the Halo franchise. This game ruined everything about Halo, what made it good. And I think that this game was directly responsible for the fact that we never got a good Halo game ever again. So we're gonna talk about it, and I'm just gonna rant for a little bit. I hope that's okay, but I can't stand this game. I can't stand people that like this game, and you're just wrong objectively, and I'm gonna get into it. Halo 4 was the first game that wasn't developed by Bungie in the series. Obviously, the Bungie games were 10 out of 10s, every single one of them. 1, 2, 3, ODST, Reach, all incredible. I love them. It's like one of my favorite game series of all time. And played it extensively. Campaign, multiplayer, thousands of hours I've spent playing the Halo series with my friends. I loved it, dude. I can still vividly remember the Christmas that I asked for an Xbox, specifically because I remember in Electronic Gaming Monthly, they had given Halo the prestigious 10 out of 10, and I was sort of taken aback and blown away. And I originally wanted a GameCube, but I was like, no, I'm going to go with the Xbox. I think I want to play this Halo game because it looks awesome. And so I open up my Christmas presents Christmas morning, and sure enough, there's an Xbox with a copy of Halo underneath the tree. One of my favorite Christmases ever. And from there, I was obsessed. I went and bought the book, The Fall of Reach, which I still have, which is in very terrible condition because I read it like 5 times as a kid. I was obsessed with Halo. I loved Halo. I met my best friends in real life through our shared mutual love of Halo. And the series really meant a lot to me. So when Halo 4 got announced, I knew that Bungie wasn't making the game, but I was still very excited. I mean, it's a new Halo game. How, what's not to get excited about? I even bought the limited edition Xbox 360 console because I was so pumped about this game. I was really excited. And then you boot it up and you play the campaign. Within the first mission, it's wrong. Everything's wrong. Now, I will give credit where credit is due. Okay? I'm not just a hater for no reason, and I will give this game credit where it does things right. Cortana is smoking hot in this game. Okay? There's no art. This is the best version of Cortana that they've ever made. I mean, by far and away. Okay? I'm not gonna cap on this. She's stacked, she's hot, she's maybe a little chubby in the face, but overall, the sexiest Cortana ever. So, a tip of the hat to whoever designed Cortana, because they nailed it, okay? But after that, everything else about this game is just objectively worse than every other Halo, and it feels soulless. Just look at the intro mission to the campaign, for instance. It starts off with a fucking therapy session with some old woman. And I know the lore. This is Dr. Halsey. She's responsible. I know. I don't care about the lore, to be honest with you. I don't care anymore. Halo 4 ruined my love of the lore, and I just kind of stopped paying attention. But objectively, though, this is a boring introduction. Compare this to something like Halo 2's introduction, where it is the tribunal of the Arbiter, you know? Where this is weird alien religious cult, and he's being exiled and put on trial. I was hooked instantly. I wanted to know what's going on. Who is this guy? What's happening? This is a boring interrogation. I don't care. Like, I'm here. And the whole thing, too, it's very female coded, right? Like, you don't see him as a human being. And you don't... Like, oh my god. Master Chief's just like, he was groomed. He's a poor, defenseless little boy. And just completely ruining the mystique of John 117, the Master Chief. And sort of painting him as some sort of hapless victim. Like, what are we doing here with this? This is terrible. And it's boring. So, after you get woken up, you know, you start to play the game, and I'm like, okay, well, you know, hey, you got the assault rifle, you got the pistol, like, you know, you can't mess that up, right? And to be fair, they didn't really jack them up too much. They felt fine, you know? And then... And then there's fucking QuickTime events, dude. QuickTime events. Like, that's what we're doing here now. You open up a door, and it's turned into... The game is turned into Uncharted now, for some reason. This was the moment that I knew, like, okay, something's wrong here. Something's not right. Like, this doesn't feel like a Halo game. Instantly. You know, I'm having to, like, do some sort of Uncharted climbing section, and then, you know, after this very anticlimactic and boring section of the game, I finally climb my way up, and oh no, the fucking elite is gonna kill me. I better fight back. Press RB to kill the elite. What are we doing, man? What are we doing? What is this? This sucks. And look, this era of gaming, clearly, like, QuickTime events were sort of getting injected into everything. Unfortunately, it was a bad time. We still kind of have that somewhat, but it seems like things have relaxed a little bit in that regard. So you could argue, like, well, it's just a product of the time. Everybody was doing QuickTime events, but this sucks, though, in a Halo game. Like, this just has no place into it. And it's not just this intro section, and I'll talk about that here in a little bit, too. It's not just this intro section either, though. It is baked into the cake of this game, okay? And whatever, it's fine. I don't want to be too hard on the campaign, because at the end of the day, I played through a little bit to record some of this footage for this video, and it's not bad. It's not necessarily great, but, you know, you're killing Covenant. You know, the battle rifle, the human guns feel good. The Needler feels fine. You could have a worse time, honestly. Like, at the end of the day, I'd much rather play something like Halo 4 than most AAA games, to be honest with you. But it's still, compared to Halo Reach or Halo 3 ODST, this is a huge fall from grace. But whatever. I'm having a time playing it until you come to the new enemy type. Was it the Protheans, the Forerunners, whatever you want to call them? Who in their right mind made and designed these enemies, dude? What were they smoking when they designed these enemies, and these weapons for that matter? I have never been more frustrated in a game than fighting these enemies. I mean, by the way, like, first and foremost, let's just get into the designs of these enemies here, okay? The big elite type guys, okay, they look admittedly pretty cool. Like, they're cool looking. They got like the sort of skull thing going on. That's fine. Whatever. Like, passable. Definitely not as cool as like the Elite by any means, but okay, whatever. Everything else looks like a fucking I don't know, a robot slave off of Kai Cenat's plantation. You know what I mean? Like, it looks like a fucking retarded like robot dog or something, or like, you know, like a fucking drone that a redneck would be shooting at 3 a.m. while he's out drinking a few beers with his buddies. Like, that's what we're fighting right now. Like, what are we doing here? Like, the fucking robot dogs? Really? Like, that's what we're fucking robot dog? It's like, was it the Boston Institute little robot dog? That's what we're fighting? Really? Okay, I guess I'll kill fucking robot dogs for 4 hours. Great. And on top of that, they are so fucking annoying to fight. They are so annoying to fight, dude. The Knights, I think that's what they're called, the Knights. They release these little drones that basically make him invincible, so then you have to fight, like, kill the drone before you kill the knight. And then on top of that, they just teleport randomly behind cover, and you can't shoot them while they're teleporting. And they teleport all the fucking time. And then, while that's happening, you're just getting fucking mauled to death by fucking robot dogs, man. Who are just annoying, and then little drones pecking at you constantly. It's the worst, man. The worst. You know, the thing that made the Elite, the Covenant, so much fun was that they felt human in a certain way. Like, obviously, you had the Flood, and the Flood was kind of annoying too, to a certain degree, but like nowhere near as annoying as this. Okay. The Flood would just sort of like rush you, and the Covenant were a little bit more tactical. These guys are just like your little cousin, you know, like poking you and then running away, like just to piss you off. That's all that they do. They were the worst, man. The worst enemies designed, I think, ever in any video game. They look like crap. They're retarded, and let's talk about the guns too. The Forerunner weaponry. Let's talk about that for a minute too. Who the hell designed these things, man? Like, don't get me wrong. There's a couple of hidden gems in there, I guess. I like the big rocket launcher thing with the Devastator or whatever the fuck that it's called. That's kind of fun, you know, the few times you get to use it. But everything else feels like I'm using a fucking Nerf gun, man. Everything. The scatter shot or whatever it's called, the shotgun equivalent, sucks. It sucks, man. It's just dog shit. Dog shit weapon. Doesn't kill anything. Their little AR, it's like one of those little like Orby, you know what I'm talking about? Those little Orby launchers. Like, it just feels like I'm just shooting out like water beads constantly at my enemies. Like, this thing doesn't kill anything, man. The light rifle, it's fine, I guess. It's just boring. It's boring. Oh, their weapons are boring. The only like saving grace from all of it, I would say, is like the bolt shot, the pistol. And that's only because that thing is completely overpowered. It's essentially a shotgun in your hand. And it's we'll talk about that in a minute, because while it is kind of cool, there are problems. There are problems with that thing. Okay? And they just look, again, just unoriginal. You know, the Covenant weapons look alien. You know, you look at the Needler. That thing is like, what is that? You know, an incredible design. Even the plasma rifles and the plasma pistols. You know, the Covenant weapons had a unique look to them, and they felt good and they felt alien. You know, they felt unique. You know, but these guns, they're just like crappy laser pistols. Like, that's all that they are, and the way that they look is just trash. I mean, just bland, plain, ordinary looking weapons, you know? I just hated everything about the Forerunners and the Protheans or whatever they're called. I don't know. I hated them. I hated everything about them. They were so annoying. And it really just drug down the entire experience of the campaign. Which, to get into the story of the campaign, I'll be honest, I just like recently played through. I don't even know what it was, to be honest with you. The Arbiter or whatever his name was, it's the worst villain ever. He looks dumb. I have no idea what his like motivation is other than like, I'm going to kill everything. And I really don't even know what I'm doing in the game. The whole thing just sort of feels like they are trying to get rid of Master Chief and replace Master Chief with this girl boss Spartan character that they keep highlighting. That's it. That's what the game feels like. Like, I don't want that. I want to play as the Master Chief. And, you know, by the way, spoilers. We're going to get into spoilers. I talked earlier about how they made probably the best iteration of Cortana, and then they decide to kill her off for some reason at the end of the game, which I didn't really understand why they would want to do that. It's just an iconic character, and she dies in a very, like, I don't know, Luke Skywalker in Rise of the Skywalker way, you know? Just, like, seems like it was completely unnecessary, and it's just very anticlimactic. Dude, you know what's crazy? I didn't even know she was dead until Halo 5 came out, to be honest with you. I'm not kidding. I had no idea. I thought like, oh, well, I figured like, oh, Halo 5, we're going to have to go rescue Cortana, you know, from being trapped into the Prothean thing or whatever, the Arbiter. No, she's dead. I didn't even know. I had no idea, dude. It's crazy. Yeah, I had no idea. Basically, the story is that the Forerunners are firing a big space laser at Earth, and you have to stop them. That's it. That's the story. And then Cortana's going crazy, and so she sacrifices herself to kill the big bad guy. Just dog shit. Just, okay, whatever. Boring. But the worst part about the campaign is definitely the ending. The ending of the game. You know, Halo always had these epic endings. Every single one. Every single Halo game. It ends almost the exact same way. It's a warthog race, you know? It's a staple of the series to have this awesome, adrenaline pumping, you know, huge climactic ending where you're racing through, you know, an exploding planet or an exploding Halo ring on a warthog to try to escape and make it out. This game ends with a fucking QuickTime event. There's not even a boss fight. I couldn't believe my jaw hit the fucking floor when I saw this. And I just replayed through it again to capture the footage to show you guys, and I was still shocked by how incompetent and stupid and lazy this decision was. You literally just hold the left thumbstick up to crawl, and then you hit the left trigger, and then you beat the boss and you win the game. And then this enemy that they've been building up, this villain, he dies to one grenade. He gets hit by one grenade, and then he just falls over off a bridge and is dead forever. That's it. Roll credits. What? Like the leading up to that, you have to fight just a bunch of like normal enemies. It's not even really that hard. It's annoying because they're these stupid ass Protheans or whatever the fuck they're called. I don't even know what they're called. I don't even remember. But I'm fighting them and I'm like, all right, I'm getting ready for the boss fight. There's no boss fight. You press left trigger and you win, and then he's dead. That's it. That's insane. That's insane, right? Like come on. How can anybody defend this fucking game? How? Like, please tell me. This is insane. And that's just the campaign, for the record. Like, haven't even gotten into the multiplayer, which is, to me, the most important part of the Halo series. Don't get me wrong, I love a good Halo campaign. They're terrific, but The meat and potatoes, the reason why I'm buying Halo at the end of the day is for the multiplayer. I mean, I've sunk thousands of hours into Halo Reach multiplayer, Halo 3 multiplayer, Halo 2 multiplayer, you know, you name it. I love Halo multiplayer. And I again, what were these people thinking? Like, did these people ever play a Halo game before this? Do they know what makes Halo unique and interesting and fun and special? Halo is an arena shooter. That is the bread and butter of this series. Is everybody starts off with the exact same loadout, the exact same guns. You almost have this, you know, almost symmetrical design even in the maps. And obviously not all of them, but in a lot of them there is this sort of like symmetry involved. It's an equal playing field where skill and timing, hand-eye coordination, and tactics reign supreme. There's no advantages to be made. There's no real strategies to formulate ahead of time in terms of building your loadout or picking the right guns. It is the power weapons spawn, everyone knows where the power weapons are, and you fight over them, and those are what give you the advantage. And those are what sort of funnel people into central parts of the map to create conflict, so you're not running around like a fucking idiot looking for enemies, you know? That's what Halo is. It's knowing the spawn timers for the power weapons, where they're located at, and trying to make sure and deny your enemy them, so that way you're not getting totally blown out by a rocket launcher. In Halo 4, now you have like loadouts and power, like Call of Duty style kill streaks where you can call in power weapons. Like, what is this, man? Like, again, who thought this was a good idea? Because for one, to go back to the Prothean weapons, the bolt shot, the little handgun shotgun that I was telling you guys about, was completely overpowered in multiplayer. As it turns out, giving someone a shotgun to start off in your loadout is a terrible idea. Now, obviously, there's a little skill in using it. It's not just, you know, you have to charge it up. But once you get good at it, it's over. GG. You're going to win any conflict with that thing if you're good. It's so overpowered. It's literally one tap to the head and you're done. This gun is actually more powerful, I would argue, than the actual like Prothean Forerunner shotgun, unironically, and you can spawn with it in your loadout, dude. What? That's insane. Just the idea alone of loadouts sort of betrays the nature and the spirit of Halo to begin with, but that spawning with the portable shotgun as a secondary weapon in your arsenal is ridiculous. On top of that, obviously, you can spawn with a DMR or a battle rifle too, which again, just sort of removes that need to know weapon placement on a map and go and look and search for the correct weapons in order to build your loadout in the game, as opposed to having it set for you and handed to you before you even spawn. On top of that, you can spawn with plasma grenades. Plasma grenades. So, essentially, anytime that you were in a map where there's vehicles like a Warthog or a Ghost, these vehicles were essentially useless because everybody would just spawn with plasma grenades and stick a plasma grenade to your Warthog and blow it up, and then you would die. That's it. Who thought that this was a good idea? And the tragedy of it is, I love the vehicles are a core component of Halo multiplayer. It's what makes it fun. Getting in a Warthog with you and like two other buddies, and he's driving and you're on the gunner and your buddy's in the passenger seat carrying the flag, is one of the most thrilling and exhilarating parts of like any multiplayer game that I've ever played. And they completely took that away from you by giving your enemy team the ability to spawn with fucking plasma grenades that they don't even have to be accurate. Just like they can stick the fucking tire of your Warthog with a plasma grenade and you're cooked. That's it. GG. You're done. Bye. Who thought of this, man? It's like these people didn't know anything about Halo and they just tried to mimic what Call of Duty was doing. They just essentially just tried to like jam Call of Duty mechanics and systems into a Halo game, and they thought that it would just magically work. But it doesn't. And it actually just completely ruined what made Halo great and robbed it of its soul. Now, some of the maps were pretty cool, admittedly, in Halo 4. Again, I'm going to be fair. I'm not going to like totally take a dump on this game. And some of the new weapons were kind of cool. I liked the remote detonator. That was pretty cool. And the railgun was pretty neat. It's just like launching a Coke can at somebody's dome, which was awesome. But overall, everything was just worse. Even the armor abilities from Halo Reach. You know, I know a lot of people don't really like the armor abilities from Halo Reach, especially Armor Lock, which, like, by the way, stay mad, dude. Armor Lock was awesome. There's like countless amounts of games in Halo Reach that I had where my tool of destruction was Armor Lock, because some guy would try to ram me in a ghost and I'd just lock in and blow his ghost up. It was awesome. But regardless of how you feel about the armor abilities in Halo Reach, they're back here in Halo 4 and they're all just worse. Armor Lock, which made you basically invincible for a short period of time, just turned into like a big shield. Like what? Like what? That sucks. Obviously you didn't need sprint because everybody started off with sprint. It's just it's built into the character now. But all the other ones are silly. Prothean Vision sucked. Active Camouflage was okay. I guess they didn't ruin that one too much, but they have like a regenerative aura shield. Like, it just all of them are just like worse. Even the jetpack just felt bad to me in Halo 4 compared to the one in Halo Reach. Everything about this game just felt worse. It felt soulless. And to sort of pivot to the last point, and probably I would argue the most egregious point out of all of this, is that the Spartans just looked dumb. Just like bad overall visual design. You know, you look at the armor in Halo Reach, it's the customization and the way that they looked was like incredible. They looked like these like walking tanks, these like alien robot warriors, you know. And Reach had so many like options to customize and to really personalize your Spartan, and really made you feel like you were a Spartan playing the game. And then you look at the Halo 4, and the Halo 4 armor is like the worst iteration of the Spartan armor in any medium I've ever seen in my life. I've seen like Halo fan films that look better than this, man. Like, I've seen cosplays that look better than this. Like, who designed this? It looks like you're wearing like an Under Armour jumpsuit with like a couple of plates attached to it. You look like weak and pathetic and like shrimpy, you know? And it's ugly. It's just everything's ugly and like dumb looking. Like, the people that made Halo 4 simply just did not know what made Halo great. They've probably never played a Halo game, and you can tell they ruined the franchise. And I would actually argue that Halo 5 has the worst campaign, but overall, I mean, Halo 4 was, I think, responsible for killing the franchise. I do. I think Halo 4 was directly responsible for making people turn away from Halo and just going and playing like Call of Duty instead. I mean, it's no secret that Call of Duty was dominating at this time. It was the biggest game franchise in the world when they were coming out and when Halo 4 came out. And it's hard to fault 343 for trying to emulate certain aspects of it or to look towards Call of Duty as some sort of inspiration, but instead of trying to become a Call of Duty game, they should have just tried to make a really good Halo game, because there are people like me that enjoyed both. I like Call of Duty style games and I like arena shooters. They're two different things and they don't need to compete really with one another. And if anything, I think they complement one another. But unfortunately, we got this woman here, Bonnie Ross, in charge of the Halo franchise. And this woman ran it into the ground. It's never been the same. And obviously, you're going to have some changes when you change, dev teams, you change entire studios. But who hired this woman? This woman has never played a Halo game in her life. And it's just very indicative of a larger problem within the gaming community, which is that people like Bonnie Ross get promoted into the games industry without any sort of merit, simply based on the fact that, well, let's be honest, it's because she's a woman. Okay? That's why. This is DEI. I had a lot of people complaining on my last video, not a lot, but a couple, saying that, well, it's not DEI that's killing the games. It's just the battle passes and the microtransactions and the DLC. And it's like, I have a problem with DLC and microtransactions and battle passes, obviously. But to sit here and pretend like DEI isn't responsible for the decline overall of games is silly. And Bonnie Ross, the head of 343, no longer, thankfully, she recently stepped down after killing the franchise. But you look at Bonnie Ross, and she's a prime example of a woman who had no place being involved in the games industry at all, getting handed the reins to probably one of the most prestigious gaming franchises ever, and running it into the ground. I mean, Halo and Master Chief were the mascots for Xbox. This was the flagship series for Microsoft. And they put a woman in charge one time, and she completely destroys everything. All of the goodwill that Halo had garnered over the years was shattered. 5 incredible games flushed down the toilet because this woman had no business being in the position that she was in. It's a travesty, because Halo 1, Halo 2, Halo 3, ODST, and Reach are still to this day some of my favorite games of all time. But this woman could not even re-release and remake these games without it being a total dumpster fire. How incompetent this woman was, and this studio was, is that they couldn't even re-release the old games and remaster them without it being a slap into the face for gamers like you and me who grew up playing these games and love these games. The Master Chief Collection was a total dumpster fire, which maybe I'll make a video on that. I think there's enough probably to go on with that too. And Halo 5 as well. I'll definitely have to tackle Halo 5 at some point. But Halo 4 sucks. If you like Halo 4, you suck. I'm sorry. It's just objectively true. This game is not a good video game. It is not a good Halo game. It is just a slight against humanity. And this is why we have to stop pretending and deluding ourselves into thinking that Halo is going to be saved. It's not. It's not. I've deluded myself so many times into thinking that, well, maybe with Halo Infinite they'll get it right. They didn't. And they never will. Halo's dead, and it sucks. And we just have to remember the old times. And remember who killed it. And that was a woman named Bonnie Ross. Thank you guys. I hope you guys liked this one. A little bit different, but hopefully you guys enjoyed it. It's very long too. Oh my gosh, it's like 35 minutes. Jeez. But yeah, of course, like and subscribe, share the video, and let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Also, I think I'm going to be starting like a Discord pretty soon. I don't know. I don't really know how to make a Discord server, so if you do know how to make one, hit me up. If you've listened this long to the video at this point, if you listen to me talk for about Halo 4 and bitch and complain about it for 35 minutes, I take it that you're probably a fan. So if you know how to make a Discord server or whatever, I mean, I know how to make one, but like I want to make like a good one, And I'll need like moderators and stuff. So if you're interested in helping out, hit me up. Hit me up on Twitter at Beards and Beardly. And also watch my kick streams. I don't really have a good schedule, to be honest with you, but just, whenever. Watch me, follow me on there, and click the bell, get notified, and we'll see you guys soon. All right. Love you guys. Bye. God bless. Fuck 343. Bye.